Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Sajid here again. We are discussing averages related question for CSAT. We started this series from the last video. So if you have not watched the last video, watch that first because that will help you to understand the problems that I am going to solve in this video. Now, after this video, I am going to cover the PYQs related to averages before moving on to the next chapter. In this video, I am going to tackle 11 questions, and if you really understand those 11 questions, I promise you that you don't have to really practice anything else as far as averages is concerned, because I have nitpicked these 11 questions for you, and which will cover various concepts, various types of problems. And if you do these 11 questions, then you will certainly be master at averages. So let us start with the first question. A student's marks, and this is very similar, so I'm going to start with some simpler questions and then gradually increase the difficulty level, because some of the concepts you need to understand before you go to the difficult problems. So the question is, a student's marks were mistakenly entered as 79 instead of 59. Due to that, the average marks for the class increased by a quarter. How many students are there in the class? Now this is, I had explained the concept of contribution towards averages in the last video. So this we are going to solve with that particular concept. So see what is told here. The mistakenly entered at 79 instead of 59. So 79 was entered, 59 was correct. That means 79 minus 59, 20 extra marks were counted, right? For these students, 20 extra marks were counted, and due to that, the average marks for the entire class increased by a quarter. Now we know that quarter is 1 by 4, that is nothing but 0.25. So because of these 20 extra marks, because of the calculation error in the marks of one student, the average of the entire class went up by 0.25, right? And that means that these 20 extra marks got divided across entire class, raising the average for each student by 0.25. Okay, so now we have to count, or rather calculate, the number of students in the class. Now we know that because of 20 extra marks, each student's marks were increased by 0.25, because average is nothing but each student's marks, right? If we consider that every student scored the same marks, then that would be the average, and that average went up by 0.25 because of these 20. So the number of students would be 20 divided by 0.25, right? And this is nothing but 80. Okay, so the answer to this question is B, 80. It's a very simple question. I just wanted to reiterate or reinforce the concept of contribution towards average by a certain value, which is either increased or decreased. So this is a simple question related to that. I hope you have understood this. Let us see the next question. Now this is very interesting question. Read this. A batsman had a certain batting average until his 23 innings. In his 24th inning, he gets out on the first ball without scoring a run. This reduces his batting average by 3. What is his new average? So I'm going to solve this by two different methods. Please understand both the methods. One is the straightforward algebra, and another is using the concept of contribution towards averages. So let us first solve with the straightforward method. So we have been told that in 23 innings, so let us say that in 23 innings his average was A, and after 24 innings his average was A1. Okay, the difference between these two, and A1 is lesser by 3 than A, because his average was reduced by 3 because he got out on 0. So A1 is basically A minus 3, correct? Because A is after 23 innings, A1 is after 24 innings, and A1 is basically less than A by 3. So this is first thing that we got. Now what is the second thing? Now clicking this thing is very important, right? The total number of runs he scored after 23 innings is 23A, right? The total number of innings that he scored after 24th innings is 24A1, but these two values are same. Why? Because he got out on 0 in 24th inning, right? So if he scored 0 runs in 24 innings, that even after 24 innings, his total number of runs would be 23A. So the another equation that we get is 24A1 is equal to 23A. So these are the two equations that we get. Okay, I hope you have understood this, but clicking this is very important, that the total number of runs after 23 and 24 innings is same, and equation wise this is 24A1 and this is 23A, right? And but the values of both are same. That's why we wrote this second equation. We know that the new average is less than first average by 3. So this is the first equation. Now it is simple. We actually just replace the value of A1. So we say that 24 into A1 A minus 3 is equal to 23A, right? So this is 24A minus 72 is equal to 23A. So A is equal to 72. What is A? A is his average after 23rd innings, right? And this is the option given too, but we have been asked what is his new average. So you need to always, carefully see that what is asked in the question. So the new average will be 72 minus 3, which is 60. So that's your answer, option B. Okay. So this is a very straightforward mathematical way of solving this question. Now think about this problem. Okay, you don't really have to do this much if you understand the concept of average very clearly. So these are say 23 innings, right? So this is first inning, this is 23 innings, and this is 24th inning, right? There was some average here. So let us draw this average. Okay, so this is some average until 23 innings. In 24th innings, he scored 0 runs and thereby brought down this average by 3. Okay. Now we know that whatever is the delta, right? Whatever is the delta because of this score will have impact on the overall average, and these 0 runs got divided across these 24 innings, which had an impact of bringing down the average by 3. Okay. If he would have scored equal number of runs as average, so whatever this average was, if he would have scored A runs in 24th innings also, the average would not have got changed, right? Because his average in 23 innings is A, and if he scored A runs in 24th innings also, his average would remain A, correct? But he scored 0, because of which average came down by 3, right? So what should be the value of A? It should be 24 multiplied by 3, 72, right? Think of it this way. If he would have scored 72 runs, right, in this 24th innings, what would have happened? That this 72 runs would have got divided across these 24 innings, right? That means for every inning his average would have gone up by 3. In this scenario, because he scored 0 runs, it came down by 3. But if would have scored 72 runs, which is the difference between 0 and 72, this would again go back up by 3. That means it would become same as average. That means that the average runs that he scored until 23rd innings is 72. Okay. Now this is a slight variation or different way of thinking of the contribution towards average. And that's why I have chosen this problem, right? I hope you understood this. So his average was 72 after 23 innings, and that's why his new average is 69. You really don't have to do all this. If you really look at this, you can easily get this answer within 30 seconds. Okay. So let us move to the next problem. The average expenditure of the hotel when there are 10 guests is rupees 60 per guest, and the average expenditure is rupees 40 when there are 20 guests. If it is known that there are some fixed expenses irrespective of the number of guests, then the average expenditure per guest when there are 40 guests in the hotel is. Okay. Now see this and understand this problem carefully. So there is a hotel. Irrespective of the number of guests, there are some fixed expenses. Okay. So when you are calculating the average, you are basically adding the fixed expenses plus you are adding the variable expenses depending on the number of guests, right? And then dividing this entire value by number of guests to get that average. This part is very important because this part is constant, which is not changing in the first case and the second case and even the case that we need to find out. So it is very important that we find what is the value of this, without which you won't be able to calculate the average. So let us do that. So let us say that the fixed expenses are X and variable expenses. Variable means what? Variable means whenever there is a guest, there is a certain amount that the hotel is spending to manage that guest, right? So that is the variable because that changes depending on the number of guests in the hotel, right? But there is some constant value per guest that the hotel is incurring for every guest. So let us say that that value is Y. Variable expense per guest is Y. Okay, so what are the things that we get? We have been told that average expenditure is 60 per guest. So the first average is 60. That is equal to fixed expenses plus variable expenses for how many guests? 10 guests. So this is 10y divided by 10. Okay. Second equation that we get from the second scenario, that average expenditure is rupees 40. It is x plus 20y because there are 20 guests now divided by 20. Okay. So this is x plus 10y, that is 600, and this is 800 plus 20. Okay. Now if you actually solve these equations, so let me write this here, x plus 20y is equal to 800. If you solve this, subtract, basically do minus. So this x got cancelled. 10y is equal to 200. So y is equal to 20. Okay. So because y is 20, now x is, if I put it in either of these equations, let me put it here. Y is 20. So this is 20 into 20, 400. So x is equal to 800 minus 400. Okay. So now I got a value of x and y. So this is 400 and this is 20. Now I will come back to what is asked. Now I have been given that there are 40 guests in the hotel. So average is equal to fixed expenses 400 plus 40 guests, that is 40 into 20 divided by 40. Right. So this is 40 into 20, 800 plus 400, 1200 divided by 40, that is 30. So that's my answer, option A. Okay. So this is a different type of problem. Typically you won't have some fixed component in the average questions, but this is a very unique question where they have been given that there is some fixed component. So you have to consider and count that fixed component each time you are actually calculating the average, because the average is calculated based on the overall cost divided by the number of guests, right? And the overall cost include both fixed and the variable cost. Okay. So this is very interesting question. Let us move to the next one. I'm going to solve the next one again with the two different methods, one straightforward, one with the contribution of average. A class of 85 students has an average marks of 70%. 5 new students join the class whose marks are 41, 51, 52, 73 and 88%. What is the new average of the class? Now this is fairly simple question if you solve it with the normal method. So the total score or total marks of 85 students earlier were 70%. So this is 5, 3, 56, 59. So these were the total marks or total percentage, let us say. Actually, it is not fair to do it this way because this is 70%. So the total percentage, right? The sheer addition of percentage is 5950. Now the 5 new students join the class because finally we have to new average is also basically given in percentage. That's why we can do what we are doing. Okay. Now 5 new students joined the class whose marks were 41, 51. So how many total marks got added? 41%, 51, 52, 73 and 88. Right. So this is 10, 13, 15 and this is 1, this is 15, 25 by 30, 305. Okay, let me add 305 to this. So this becomes 6255. Total number of students become 85 plus 5 new students, which is 90. So the new average would be nothing but 6255 divided by 90. So this is 954, 628, 85, 9981, 950. Okay. So this would be 69.5% and that would be your answer, option C. Okay. So this is a fairly straightforward and easy question. But again, for you to understand how the increased values or the new values affect the average by contribution, let us see how that works. So original average is 70%. Now you add one student, which is 41%, right? So what is this student's contribution to this average? 70 minus 49, that is minus 29. Okay, because this is lesser. Then next one is 51, so this will be minus 19. Then next one is 52, so this will be minus 18. Then it is 73, so this will be plus 3, and then it is 88, so this would be plus 8. Right, now if you add all of this, then this would go and this would be 48 plus minus 3, that is 45. So this would be minus 45, right? Now this minus 45 percentages got divided among 90 students because the new number of students is 90, right? So for every students it would be basically 45 by 90%, and because it is minus, right, the from overall average this will be reduced. So this is nothing but half percent, so this is 69.5. That's your. Okay, I hope you got this. So what I did was I calculated what are the total delta or the total change which happened to the number of marks as compared to averages. So that is 45%, and these 45% are actually reduced because the overall sum is minus. That's why from the original average it is very clear that the new average will be smaller. Smaller by what? Smaller by 45% divided by total number of new students or total new number of total students, which is 90. So this is half percent. I will reduce half percent from 70 to get my answer 69.5%. Now this is another type of question, but of course this particular question you can solve by this straightforward simple method also. Let us move to the next one. A certain factory employed 600 men and 400 women with an average wage of 25.5 per day. If a woman received 5 less than a man, what are their daily wages? Okay, so I will solve this again by couple of methods. One is our straightforward algebra method. So let us say men and women. This is 600, this is 400, and their overall average is 25.5. So how many total workers? Total workers are 1600 plus 4000, 1000 workers. What is the average of all these workers? 25.5. What is the daily expense of the factory towards wages? 25,500. So factory is spending this much amount every day on these workers. Now we have been told that a woman received 5 less than a man. Okay, so let us assume that women's daily wages are X and men's daily wages are X by 5. Okay, this is average wages for a woman is X and for males it is X plus 5. So now we will separately calculate their total wages. So men will get 600 into X plus 5 plus women will get 400 into X, and this is nothing but this amount, which is 25,500. First, now it is a question of solving this. So this is 600X plus 3000 plus 400X. This is equal to 25,500. So this is 1000X plus, or rather, is equal to 25,500 minus 3000 is 22,500. Okay. Now 1000X, 22,500, X is equal to 22.5. X is nothing but average for women. So this would be, men's will be X plus 5, which is 5. That's your option C. Okay, that's your answer. Now this is very straightforward algebra way of solving this. Now think about this problem, more carefully. What has been told is that men received 5 more than women. Okay, so I'm again going to write this because I want to teach you the faster method of how to think about the problem. Men received 5 more, right? So if women received certain amount, then men received X plus 5. Okay, we know that the total amount is 25,500. How many men are there? There are 600 men and 400 women. Okay, for every man, right, he received whatever was the average for women, right? Every man received 5 more than that. So what is the total amount that 600 men received, which is more than women, right? What is that delta? 600 into 5. I hope you are understanding this. So these 3000 rupees are the extra amount that these 600 men received, right? Which is more than the average of women. Okay, more than the average of women. So more than average of women, each man received 5 extra. So total amount that 600 men received is 3000. If you remove this 3000 from 25,500, you get 22,500. Okay, so total expenses of the factory are 25,500. I will remove this 3000, which is extra for men, from this to get this 22,500. And what is this 22,500? You have brought men and women on the same level in terms of their averages, correct? But primarily you have brought both men and women to the level of average salary of women, because you removed that extra amount that the men received. Okay, so this 22,500, if everyone got, men and women got the same salary, which is equal to the salary of women, then the total expenses would be 22,500, because you removed that additional 3000, which means that for 1000 people the factory has spent 22,500. Okay, so for one person the factory spent 22.5 rupees, which is nothing but average of women. I hope you got this. And if this is average of women, then adding 5 to this will give us average of men. So that's your answer, option number C. So you really don't have to do all this algebra if you understand how the amount is working. Okay, if you are not understood, please revise a little bit and listen to what I explained. It is pretty simple that you basically remove the extra amount and brought in the salary at the same level, or rather women level, and that gave you per person salary as 22.5 rupees, which is nothing but the women's average salary. So adding 5 to that will give you main salary. Option number C is your answer. Let us go to the next question. Among four numbers with an average of 63, the first is 1/3 of the sum of the last three. What is the value of the first number? So these are four numbers. Let us say that they are A, B, C, D. Their average is 63. So we know that A plus B is 63 into 4. Okay. So one thing that you should remember is that don't solve this. Okay. Don't waste time in solving this, because ultimately somewhere you will use this number, and wherever you use this, there is a possibility that, if it is already factorized like this, it will be easier for you either to divide it or cancel the numerator, denominator, etc. Okay, so keep it like this. If need be, at the end you can anyway solve it. Okay, so but don't be in a hurry to find out every full number as you solve any question. So 63 plus 4, because average is nothing but A plus B plus C plus D divided by 4, which is equal to 63. So I moved this 4 here. So 63 by 4. So sorry, 63 into 4. Now the first one is 1/3 of the sum of the last three. So first one is A is equal to 1/3 of sum of B plus C plus D. That means B plus C plus D is equal to 3A. Okay. Now it became easy for me. I will replace this because I've been asked the value of the first number. I have to find A. So A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 3A. This is equal to 63 into 4. 4A is equal to 63 into 4. So A is equal to 63. It is simple, straightforward question. But again, right? Again, I want you to think there are four numbers. Okay. The average of these numbers is 63. So the first one is 1/3 of the sum of the last three. So if you add these numbers, okay, this number is 1/3 of this. What is the average of B plus C, B, C, D? B plus C plus D divided by 3. Okay, that means that A is nothing but the average of B, C and D. A is nothing but the average of B, C and D, because A is 1/3 of B plus C plus D. If average of all these numbers is 63, okay, A has to be average of B, C and D, and 4 number ka average is 63. That means A has to be 63, right? Unless A is 63, think of this. Whatever numbers are there here in our scenario, there are 4 numbers, right? What is really average? Average is you are adding these 4 numbers and dividing it by 4 to draw that common line, right? And calling that as a average. Okay, now if this number is exactly on this line, that means average of these three number has to be same as this number, right? And average of all these numbers also has to be same as this line. Average of these three numbers also has to be this line, because this number is exactly on this average line. I hope you got this concept, but if you have not, it is okay, because this is not a very complex calculation to do. But you can, if it clicks to you, you can immediately see that this number has to be 63, which is option number D. Let's go to the next question. Now this is algebra question, algebra plus averages. If the mean of A, B and C is M, and AB plus BC plus CA is equal to 0, then the mean of A square, B square and C square is. a plus b plus c is equal to 3m. Okay, because average of this is m. So this 3 I actually moved here. So this is my first equation which I got. My second equation is AB plus BC plus CA is equal to 0. Now what is asked? A square, B square, C square ka average, right? That means somewhere I have to square this number. You know, if you have practiced algebra a lot, you can immediately see that, you know, these terms are from the square of A plus B plus C. Okay, so a plus b plus c, when you square, it is a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2ac plus 2ba, sorry, 2bc. Sorry, this is the square. Now if you do not know this formula, okay, you still need to understand that because you have to calculate the score, calculate the mean of a square, b square and c square, somewhere you have to square this term. Okay, if you don't know this formula, you can simply square it. I mean, there is nothing difficult. Okay, so if you multiply a, you get a square plus ab plus ac. If you multiply it by b, you get ba plus b square plus bc. If you multiply it by c, you get, you know, ac plus cb plus c square, which is nothing but a square plus b square plus c square plus AB and AB, AC and AC, and BC and so 2AB plus 2BC plus, okay. So don't get scared if you don't know this formula, right? And this happened a lot in you know, CSAT 23 ka paper, because there are a couple of problems where, you know, probably students thought that I don't know this formula or I don't know this pattern, right? One classic example was that, you know, 1119 times multiplied by 1119 times. Okay, now you, if you don't know that, you know, this pattern actually gets repeated when you multiply series of 11 it becomes 1 right? If you don't know this, right, and you have to extrapolate this to 9 digits, if you didn't know this pattern, it is fine, you simply do this calculation, right? And in one of my video I did this. It actually took only 45 seconds for me to do this. It is fairly easy. Okay, so don't get scared if you don't know the formula. Simply do this. It will take additional 15 seconds, but you will get it. Okay, now coming back to problem, we have to find the mean of a square plus b square plus c square. So that means we have to find the values of a square plus b square plus c square divided by 3. This is the average. Okay, now we have been told that ab plus bc plus ca is equal to 0. So 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ac is also equal to 0. Let me write down here. Let me take this term here again, right? So I'm rewriting this as a square plus b square plus c square plus 2 into ab plus bc plus, okay, I took the 2 common out and rotate. Now we know that the value of this is 0. That means this term is nothing but a square plus b square plus c. What is this term? This term is this term, a plus b plus c ka square. We know that a plus b plus c is equal to 3m. So a plus b plus c is equal to 3m. So a plus b plus c square is equal to 9m square. Okay, this is equal to nothing but this value, which is equal to a square plus b square, right? What I have to find? I have to find a, divide this by 3. So I will divide this by 3 and I will divide this by 3. So I get 3m square as average. That's your answer, option D. This looks very complicated, but I'm writing each and every step in detail. That's why, my screen looks bad, but you really don't have to do this, right? I mean, you don't have to write this much. Let me erase this and quickly show you if how I would solve this in the exam. You should solve this in the exam. You know that ABC ka average is m, so you know that a plus b plus c is equal to 3m. Then you know that a plus b plus c ka square is equal to this. So you know that this is 0, so this is equal to this, like this of this is equal to this, so I 9m square equal to this. So I know that I have to divide it by 3, so it is 3. This is what we need to write in exam to get this. Okay, you don't have to write all that. I wrote all that for you to understand. You can write still less and find this, but if you have practiced algebra more, you can do that. Let us see the next question. The average of any 7 consecutive odd natural numbers is k. If 2 more such numbers just next to the previous 7 numbers are added, the new average becomes. We know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For 7 numbers which are consecutive odd natural numbers. Okay, never lose sight of all this. So these are all consecutive and odd numbers. Now their average is A. So irrespective of whether they are odd, even or just consecutive, the average would always be a middle number. So this average number is K. Now I am going to add next to two more such numbers next to previous 7 numbers. So I am adding these 2 numbers. Now I have 9 numbers. So average would move to this because now this is the middle. Okay. Now this is what? This is nothing but the next odd number. This is nothing but the next odd. D is the answer. Okay. So this is fairly easy question. You have to only carefully see. Don't get scared because it is k, x, y. Okay. You just think logically and you will get the answer. Let us move to the next question. Typically in CSAT you won't get difficult calculation. So this problem I have taken from I think SSC previous question. So that's why there are some decimals, but otherwise but in CSAT you have got these kind of problems, and we'll see that in the PYQs. But it is it is important concept to understand. The average of 15 numbers is 17, right? So this is first number, this is 15 number, inka average is 17, sorry, not 17, 11.7. If the average of the first 8 numbers is 11.2, so this is 8th number, average here is 11.2, and that of the last 8 number is 12.1. So last 8 numbers again start from this number. See, 8 and 8 16, but we have only 15 numbers. That means 8th number, last 8 and first 8, this number is common in both. Okay, so this number is common in both. Think of this. Now 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, I get this. I have taken consecutive number, then it not be consecutive, but look at this. The overall average of this is 3, right? Average of these 3 numbers is 3 plus 2 5 6 is 2, and average of these 3 numbers is 3 plus 19 12 4. Here I don't know the numbers, right? So what is the sum of this bracket? Here it is common. The sum of this bracket is 2 into 3 6. Sum of this bracket is 4 into 3 12, and 12 plus 6 is 18, right? But The sum of these 5 numbers is 15. Why? Because you are double counting 3. You are double counting the middle number. So you need to reduce that once to get the actual sum. Okay. So this is the concept. Here we are going to use it, and there are multiple ways in similar kind of questions have been asked. So you need to understand this. Sometimes they give, first number, last number, like that, various combinations, but everywhere it is the same concept. So we have to find the middle number, which is the 8th number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first find the sum of first 8 numbers, which is 11.2 into 8, and the last 8 numbers, which is 12.1 into 8, right? And overall average also I know, which is 11.7. So this plus this, right, should be 11.7 into 15 minus middle number. Okay, so now I take 8 common and I do 11 plus 12, 23 plus 23.3 is equal to 11.7 into 15 plus middle, right? So what is middle number? Middle number is 11.7 into 15, which is 10, 25, 70, 170.5, and this is 4, 2, 6, 1, 186.4, right? So I am going to find the difference between these two. 186.4, 175.5. This is 75, 185 is 10 and 10.9, right? And this is nothing but my middle number. That's your answer option. Okay. So as I said that you may not get such decimals for calculation, but even if they are there, they are simple, right? But the concept is important. The concept is that you are counting the middle number twice when you are taking first 8 number and last 8 numbers out of 15 numbers. So you take the sum of first 8, then you take the sum of last 8, and you know that the middle number is double counted, so you add those two sums, and then you take the overall sum of 15 numbers and subtract it, then you will get your answer. Okay, so that's your answer, option number. Okay, in a specific week, the average number of people who visited the zoo is 50. So we know that there are 7 days in a week and average number is 50. So the total number of people who visited the zoo in a week is 350. If we exclude the holidays, then the average increases by 20. Okay. Furthermore, if we also exclude the day on which maximum number of 70 people visited, the average becomes 40. The number of holidays in a week is. We have to find the number of holidays. So let us see, number of holidays is X. Okay. So I really don't know if this last statement is useful or we need it to solve this. We have to only find the number of holidays. Let us see, right? So let us write the next equation. So excluding holidays, you will have 7 minus X working days, right? On those working days, the average is increased by 20. So overall average is 50. So now it became 70, right? And what should be the number here? Think about it. This number will be same as 350 because on holidays, no visitors would visit the zoo. Okay. So this number would remain same. It is just like, one of the earlier problem when we saw that the total runs in the first problem, the total runs of the batsman will remain the same as 23 innings, right? So here similarly, excluding holidays, These are the working number of days. This is the average of those days, but the total number would remain the same as entire week, because on holidays no one would visit. So we have, one variable and one equation, so we'll be able to solve it. We really don't need this second statement. This is the extra information given to confuse us. So this is 490 minus 70x is equal to 350. 70x is equal to 140, x is equal to 2. There are two number of holidays. Your answer option A. Okay. I included this problem because there would be some problems where some extra unnecessary information is given. You should be able to kind of cut that out and take what you need and solve it as quickly as possible. I think this is the last question. The ratio of the number of cats to dogs in a home is 2:3. So these are cats and these are dogs. Ratio is 2:3. The average weight of cats and dogs in the home is 15 kilo and 18 kilos. What is the average weight of all the cats and dogs together? Okay, so this is a simple question, but because it is a mix of average and ratios, I included this in this video. Fairly simple, because the ratio is 2 and 3, the actual count is 2x and 3x. Okay, so it is nothing. Then the total weight of cats is 15 into 2x 30x. Total weight of dogs 854x. Right, so total weight of both the animals is 84. How many animals? 2x and 3x. So average is equal to total weight divided by total number of animal, 3 plus 2, 5x. Age is 84. Okay. So fairly simple question, but because it is a combination of both average, I thought of including it. Okay. So thanks for watching and thanks for your patience. I hope that you got all the concepts. If not, please comment. I will explain. Please download our app, because we are soon going to launch a very very affordable course for CSAT for Prelims 24, and there are a lot of free content available on the app also for you to explore. So subscribe to channel, download the app, and from this video or any other video on our channel, if you have not understood any concepts, please comment on the video, or contact me on Instagram here, Brainita UPSC. Okay, and I'll be happy to respond to your doubts. Thanks for watching this. I will see you in the next one. In the next video, I will start the PYQs. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again.